Tiger. All righty, just a little bit past 9:03, 9:04, and some change. And welcome to the Sideline Report on this Thursday. Todd Griffin in studio, and good morning.
Good morning. A lot of ups and downs in the last week or so in the sports world.
Since we last talked, a little bit of ups and downs, but a lot of positives to build upon too, and still a lot of good things going on.
Oh yeah, well, the Tiger baseball team ran its district winning streak to 7 straight years, but then suffered that loss over in the second region tournament on Monday to Union County. And, you know, we had talked about it before that game that we thought that was kind of a toss-up anyway, regardless of what the rankings or records may have said, and it kind of turned out that way. And, of course, the Lady Tigers softball team lost to one ranked team in the 7th district finals, then beat another ranked team in the first round of the regional tournament.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And still playing when we can get it in.
Yeah. The Kentucky Wildcat basketball team, one big player coming back in P.J. Washington. They lost a couple of others. Big high point is Emma Talley playing in the U.S. Women's Open as we speak.
Yep.
And one other big event, the Han Solo movie came out last week, and I'll leave that up to everyone's own opinion on whether that was a high point or a low point.
I have issues with the timeline and some things in there. But other than that, I thought it was entertaining and kind of fun. I mean, overall, I liked it, but I don't know. I just have some issues with the timeline.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
Yeah, so.
But on tap today, we have second region softball. The Caldwell County Lady Tigers will play Crittenden County today. That game, I think, now is at 6:30 over at Hopkins Central, or 6:30-ish.
Right. And they had gone back and forth between venues, I think. And I guess it probably just had to do with field conditions.
I'm sure they're trying to find a spot they can play at this point with the way the weather's been. And we've got Caldwell County softball coach David Choate in the studio with us this morning. So glad to have you with us. And it is still at Hopkins County Central tonight, right?
Yes, it is. Man, that bounce back from venue to venue, we were going crazy on text messages and on Twitter last night. We didn't know whether we were going to be in Madisonville. They never said Christian County, but that was also,
tossed around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We knew that Johnny was tart, but when we had the meeting Tuesday night, when it did rain out, first thing he said when we went into the meeting, he said, "I'm tart."
Okay.
But then Madisonville did too. Madisonville's issue was that they were going to have to do the games before it got dark because they're lighting.
Yeah.
And I even suggested renting lights, and they said they're not tall enough. They can't get them tall enough.
Oh, wow.
I want to say they had to be 60 feet. Is that right?
I'm not sure exactly what the specifications are. I know you have to have the metal light poles, and I'm not sure how bright it has to be. I think the KHSAA actually comes in and measures all that to certify that you can host the regional tournament.
Right.
It's a little complicated, actually.
It is.
My question has always been if a field is good enough to play a district tournament on, it should be good enough to play the regional tournament on. But, the specifications get different as you get deeper into the playoffs.
Well, from what I understand, the specs have been the same for some time now. It's just that they're enforcing it more thorough now.
Okay.
Because Madisonville actually hosted a region tournament, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, Madisonville is technically the host this year, right? They're just playing it at Hopkins County Central because their field meets the specifications.
Exactly.
Even though some of us can't get a signal over there. Ty's one of the lucky ones.
Well, if certain companies you can get a signal, certain companies you can't. And but to tell you the truth, the company I have, it's a little sketchy at times. So we're hoping to live stream it this afternoon as well, signal permitting. So
well, it's difficult to believe that there's so much difference because I've tweeted in the past from the soccer field, which is just next door. I've had no problem tweeting from over the baseball field, which is just on the other side of the football field. But
we gave a little test the other day.
Yeah, you get back there on the softball field, and I've got nothing.
It's like a hole back there.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's I tell you what, that was quite a scene when we arrived the other day, and you had Christian County and Madisonville going at it, and in a tight game, and I'm telling you, it was. You could cut the tension with a knife in that place, and I know win or lose, whoever today in our game is going to have a tough. That's going to be a tough team. Whoever comes out on that one.
Yeah, well, that's essentially 2 top 10 teams, Christian County and Madisonville.
Yes, it is. And they were battling. There was no doubt about it. Every out, every pitch,
Yeah, I mean,
everything was
tense,
big.
wasn't it? Yeah, I mean,
was.
the fans, too, you could really feel it in the stands
Oh, yeah.
as well. And I think the added potential for the rain, and you started to hear a little thunder, it just added to the tension. But, I like that kind of atmosphere for sports especially. And, I mean, people were just on edge.
Well, Madisonville got out to a 3-0 lead. Yeah. Christian County came back and took a 5-4 lead, and the game was stopped in the bottom of the fourth, I believe, when the thunder and rain came. And when you said it was quite a scene, I thought you were going to talk about us running to the car in the rain.
That was quite a scene as well, because I know I got home about 9 o'clock. We did stop to get something to eat, but still drenched.
Oh, yeah, still wet at that point.
Yeah, we got totally drenched. We're going to take Coach Choate's advice and park up on the track this evening. I think we're a little closer in case it opens up and rains. But
I may try to get the bus up there this evening. I don't know.
David, as win or lose, you got to get past this Crittenden County team today, and hopefully the weather will cooperate on that. But is there a preference on who you face of those two teams?
We have a ton of respect for both those teams. It's 6 in one end, half dozen in the other. I don't know. Courtney, we bring out the best in Courtney.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it.
And Courtney Patterson, she's a pitcher for Madisonville.
Yeah.
She could have 10 bad games and then play us, and she's going to light it up.
Yeah,
and it's been that way since she was 10 years old.
And Todd and I have talked, this Madisonville team, we've had them on the ropes in the late innings several times, and it just seems like those last couple at-bats, they just seem to find a way to get it done against us. But I think they know that each and every time they play Caldwell County. But, man, there's a potential that they could go down.
Well, over the last 2 years, we were essentially the only team to even play with them in the district. Last year, we were really the only team to even play with them out of the region. The losses that they had last year come statewide. It was no regional losses last year that I remember. I don't know. We battle with them. It just come up a little short.
That team they're playing today, though, Todd, that Christian County team is pretty tough too. But didn't they lost a pitcher to injury?
I think their pitcher has a.
She went out the other night. I don't know her status.
Don't know if she'll be available.
Right.
Now, can they bring her back? If she is and she's healed, can they bring her back?
Yes.
So they can. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and talk about that Madisonville team. It's the defending state champion for one thing, so don't forget about that.
Yeah.
And if you watched any of the NCAA tournament recently on TV, they've got a kid that's at Kentucky that played. They've got a kid at Alabama.
Exactly.
I mean, they've had all kinds of kids come out of that program.
Right. Those kids don't just play. They have produced big for SEC schools. And SEC softball, you don't get any better than that.
Right.
Well, talk a little bit about the season you guys have had, because it's been a really good year, but it kind of got off to a choppy start because of the weather, and here we are back having weather issues again.
It seems to be a fitting end for this season because we've battled the weather all year. Mm-hmm. And we missed some key games that would have really prepared us for this. Hopefully we'll be fine, but Madisonville, I looked at the record the other day. I think they were 15-8 on the season. That's a team that normally plays 38 games by now.
Right.
And we normally have 32 to 35 games in by now, and it's just not here.
No. Well, you missed 7 or 8 right off the bat in the beginning.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks, basically.
Yeah. Our first game was actually against Webster County. They beat us 3-2. We made 2 errors in the first inning, and that was the ball game.
Yeah. How important was it? And Todd, I didn't mean to. How important was your girls the other day with that win in Webster County? That was a nail biter, so to speak. Of course, we weren't there to cover it. I was not, but I mean that was huge, wasn't it?
It was, and I felt good about it. As soon as we scored, that relieved a ton of tension for us, because Keeney, their pitcher, she throws from 64 to 68 miles an hour, and she was popping that mitt the other night.
Yeah.
And we sprinkled a few hits in after that. I really thought we were going to get going there in the 4th inning and tack a few more on. But didn't work out. 1-0 win. I'll take it.
Yeah, don't get there late, because, that game, the leadoff batter tripled. She
Right.
scored on a wild pitch.
That was it.
And that was 1-0. That was the score.
But you'll see that in high school girls softball sometimes, especially when you have two. You see it in baseball too, when you have two good pitchers on the mound,
Right.
That are really throwing good stuff. I mean, it's a pitcher's duel and it's a low-scoring game.
Katie had a heck of a game the other night pitching. She had some stellar defense behind her.
Yes.
There was some really fine plays made, and I mean, she brought it.
Yeah.
She did a fine job.
And we do want to give a shout out and best wishes to Coach Laura Young. She was supposed to be here today, a little under the weather, and
yes.
so we want to give her a shout out and hope that she's feeling better as well. Hopefully she'll be on ready to go tonight. She said she was going to stay home and rest. So
yeah, I don't blame her. I would be resting up for this evening too, because we may have to make that big long run on the rain delay again.
That's exactly right.
We're going to park closer this time.
Yeah,
that's right. It's all right.
Well, you play a Crittenden County team today, hopefully, if the weather allows, that you've seen once already, beat them 8-0 in the second region All-A Classic, but it just feels like second time around the game will be a little tighter.
I think it'll definitely be different this game. Of course, I feel like we can win every game we go into. I don't know. I don't know of any coaches that they don't feel that way. But Crittenden County's not a pushover. There's no doubt about that. And they will have their number one pitcher thrown against us tonight, where they didn't in the All-A. She'd been injured the night before. But I think we'll be fine. We're ready.
That was a tournament where you guys were just on a roll, and I think Katie Franklin threw 3 shutouts, and you guys just rolled through that All-A Classic.
Be nice to get on the road right now.
Well, in a way, because you got the win over a ranked team right before the district, had the loss to Madisonville, but again,
And the weekend before that, we played Central Hardin down in the McCracken County tournament, and they were ranked 17th at the time, and we beat them. So that was a big win for us. And I kept telling the girls, I said, this McCracken County tournament, this is set up just right for us, because we knew we were going to see good pitching when we went to McCracken County, and we did, but second game of that tournament gets rained out.
Yeah,
we got one game in.
Yeah, that's a big. That was a big win though against that team. They were ranked 17th at the time. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about the girls. Seem to be are they pretty loose about things? Attitude like on the bus. Do you get a feeling when you're riding over there, or they just?
Well, if you talk to some of the bus drivers, it's a party every time we go anywhere. I give them fair warning that the music's going to be loud and we're going to have a good time on the way over there.
Well, that's good.
And
they've
been good with it so far. I do see them raise their eyebrows a few times on the rides over, but I just want them to be as loose as they can be. And honestly, they're confident right now.
Does it affect them when they're over there warming up and they're seeing what's going on at the other field, like the Christian Madisonville thing? Does they kind of look at that and go, oh man, because honestly, and I know. You see two teams like that out there on a softball field, it can look a little different than some other two teams that you see out there. I think Caldwell County's right there myself, but I mean there's some teams that can't hang with those kind of teams like that.
Exactly. It doesn't bother our girls. I mean we've had these kids in tough competition since I've had a lot of these girls on my team.
A long time, haven't they?
Since they were 6 years old.
Yeah.
So for them to see good competition, it's nothing new. It's just. We just got to get the job done.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what we were saying, that Madisonville Christian County matchup, that's a top 10 matchup. I think Madisonville's ranked 11th, but I mean, really, it's a top 10.
Exactly.
It's a state tournament game, basically.
Right.
Sure it is.
They were top 5 all year long,
Yeah.
up until just like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think they dropped out of the top 5.
And they had that little stretch there where they lost some games, but when you look at who they were playing, I mean, it doesn't help your record, but I think it helps you in the long run.
Exactly.
To get prepared for the postseason. And I think we've done that too. We haven't played very many, what I would say, weaker teams this year. And when we went to the All-A Classic state tournament, we played with everybody up there. And that Holy Cross team that has won it, whatever it is now, 3 or 4 years running, we were right there with them.
Yeah, had them pretty worried there.
Yeah, that would have been a big win for us. And I feel like that if we played them today, we'd beat them. Just a little more confident.
A lot of that's just the number of games that you had under your belt, too.
Exactly. I mean, at that time, what did we play? 7 games whenever we
wasn't
actually
very
went to
many.
All-A?
Exactly. and some of those teams have had many more games, and it just takes a little while sometimes to get going.
It does. We're looking forward to the challenges tonight, and if we take care of business the way we should, we'll be playing tomorrow.
Well, we've got it in hand. It's kind of funny. I think almost, I don't know about the fields yesterday, but weather-wise, we probably could have played.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know about the field conditions probably is what did it overall, but now, this afternoon, we've got a pretty good chance of some thunderstorms this afternoon, especially overnight as well. So we're getting it to the point where we need to get these things in, and it might be a little tougher as we head into tomorrow to get even a championship game in. What's the plan there? What do you know?
They're not, from what I understand, they are not going to finish this tournament and play 3 games in one day.
Right.
You're going to come back for the championship on another day. That way both teams are fresh. Now, of course, that's the plan as I understand right now. We get down to crunch time, we may have to play the 3 games in one day.
Yeah.
Just to get through it.
Yeah, it's depending on what the weather does.
Well, I think the first region is doing a little something like that. I'm not sure how far along they are, but I saw where one team said, their first game today is at 4 o'clock or whatever, 3 o'clock, and if they win, they play again tonight.
Yeah.
So you've kind of got backed up a little bit, but the good thing is the state tournament doesn't begin until next Thursday.
Right.
So you've got a little window where you can make some stuff up.
Big win out of the first region where Ballard Memorial, I think.
Knocked off McCracken County last night.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was an upset. It seems like
it was a huge upset.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact score, but
it's 1-0, I think.
Well, it was 3-2 in that game.
Yeah.
But McCracken had beaten them twice during the season by something crazy like 32-1 or something.
3-2 was the final.
Yeah. So that was a huge upset. I mean, McCracken was expected to not only win that thing, but to compete at state for a state championship.
Yeah.
Well, we watched Ballard play. They played in the Best of the West tournament right in front of us. As they were playing right in front of us, McCracken had started on the field over behind us. And I was watching them. I was like, they're a lot better than what I thought they were. Mm-hmm. They did not win the game that they were playing right in front of us, but it was a nail biter right down to the end. I had a lot more respect for them after that.
And that's what's great about this game. We all know it. I don't care if you're Madisonville, Christian County, the number 1 team in the state. Any given day, if you're a decent team and play fundamental ball, there's a chance you're going to beat somebody. And the big thing I think, and Todd and I have talked about it before, is just these errors or pass balls, or majority of the time, if you can play clean, you're going to have a chance to win. But the more pass balls you get and people advancing around the bases or walks, it's going to cause you some trouble.
Walks and errors kill you every time.
Yeah.
Well, that was the difference, I think, in the 2 Webster County games. You mentioned earlier that we had some errors that first time around back in March. Well, when I looked at the stats the other day, there was a big 0 under the error column for Caldwell County. There was a 4 under Webster County, so that's a big swing.
Exactly, and I think we saw it in our second region baseball match the other day. We just didn't play our best baseball. And so when you have things such as that happen, more than likely it's hard to come out on the winning end of the scoreboard. So, take heart. You've got a pretty good little team on defense. They can bat it around. You've got a solid pitching. So I like that.
Well,
you can't complain. That's
no, I'm not going to complain one bit.
Yeah.
And we just if we get back to hitting it the way we were as we were going into the AA, we'll be fine.
I think so.
And if we hit it that way, it doesn't matter who we play in the championship game if we make it past tonight.
Yeah, that's what's fun about this.
Right.
But boy, I think it still can. You get into a groove and a rhythm. That this weather is just a little bit in the back of your mind. Just like come on, let's get these games. Y'all jacked up to play, and then.
Well, I actually I think the weather delay hurt the Tiger baseball team the other day, just the way it turned out.
Without a doubt. That'd take 5 hours to play that game?
It took,
every bit of it.
It started, about 1 o'clock, and it was after 5 by the time we got done.
Yeah.
So,
almost. Yeah.
The first delay was an hour and a half. Yeah. And I think Caldwell had kind of gotten the momentum, and not only that, but they had the bad call go against them.
Right.
And I think that kind of riled them up, and they were ready to play at that point. Well, then the game
And then
stops,
shut it
and he's
down.
set for an hour and a half.
And Jace had settled in nice and was really
Yeah.
starting to pitch, really well. He had a rough, first inning or so, settled down nicely, and I think it hurt.
But, I mean, you don't want to go back and find excuses, but
no.
because both teams played on the same field under the same conditions, and
Right.
I thought Union County was a team that deserved to win the game.
Yeah, we didn't play our best baseball that day, but that's going to happen every now and then. You hate the timing of when it happens, but it just happens. It's ball, But nothing. 23-7. Is that right? Is that what the year we had? Nothing to hold your head down about that.
Again, and you're playing a Crittenden County team today that I think is like 22-7.
Yes.
So they've had some big games. They went to the All-A Classic State Tournament last year, I believe. So that Crittenden County team, when you start looking at teams you want to play, I'm not sure that one's one of the first one that jumps out either.
No, it's not. I mean, like I said earlier, they're no slouch. They're a good ball team. I mean, they played Lyon County very, very tough this year, and they beat Trigg County to get here, right?
Yes.
That's right.
And Trigg was rolling.
They were.
And Crittenden, I think, scored 8 runs in the first inning against Trigg County in the district championship game.
Yeah, that was the report I got.
Was that against Hannah Colbert, their pitcher over there?
I want to say that it was.
I think it was. Of course, I think she was battling a little bit of injury. I talked to her mom the other night, and she had kind of had a sore shoulder, and I don't know if it was before that game or when it was. So she was a little bit hobbled. I don't know how bad, but what a year they have, and she's a formidable pitcher that they have over there.
Definitely, and it's not fun as a coach or even a fan to watch a kid that's had such as good a year as she has to struggle right here at the end over an injury.
Yeah.
But pitching is key, and if teams could have a couple of good pitchers, that'd be nice. But it takes so much time.
Softball, is it?
It takes so much time to be good.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one good thing about maybe having a little time between games, because Katie pitched such a good game against Webster County, and you mentioned the Keeney kid over at Webster's as good as anybody, and that was just a heck of a ball game all around.
It was one that we'll look back in a couple of years and say it was a lot of fun to be a part of. I mean, I can do that right now. We just try to put them behind us as soon as we do, but I think we'll look back at that, and that was a good win.
Well, and a monumental win as far as trying to build the program back up, because that was the first win at a regional tournament since 2004. So, that's a pretty good run. I mean, a lot of us can still remember, that run we had back in the late 90s and early 2000s where we won the region championship in 98, 2000, and 2002. And I think we're regional runners-up in 97 and 99. So, I mean, that was a heck of a run, and it sure would be fun to get back to playing for those regional championships.
That's what we're striving for. We've been back to the regional tournament 3 out of the last 4 years. Just come up a little short last year against Christian County. We had them on the ropes last year in the first, quarterfinals.
Yeah, that was a good game too.
It was a good game. But that, with the win over Webster, that helps us a ton, especially just mentally.
What do you expect today to see from Crittenden County as far as their team? Do you expect them to, to give us an idea of how you feel like it might go today?
Oh, they're going to hit.
Yeah.
We just, Katie did a heck of a job with them last time, but they've had another 15 games since then to get better, same as we have. So
has it been that many games since you met them last?
Oh,
It was like
so.
April 10th, I think, when we played them down at Edible. So.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it was. That was that cold game down there.
It was.
All day, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep. That's been. Yeah. It seems like it was yesterday, but it was a good while ago.
Right.
Yeah. So we were there at that game. So it was a good game.
Well, it's kind of an interesting feeling going into play tonight, assuming we actually do get to play, because you've got that Christian County Madisonville game that's finishing, and again, you've got 2 top 10 teams basically there playing that. It almost feels like we're the undercard and that nobody's really paying attention to this game, but the Caldwell-Crittenden winner is in the regional championship game.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, you're a game away, and once you get there, if you can get to that point, well, there's going to be somebody good on the other side, whatever the draw happened to be. But, again, going back to that Ballard Memorial win over McCracken County last night, you put yourself in a one-game situation, and, hey, maybe you find yourself going back to Owensboro again for a state tournament.
Exactly.
That's where we want to be.
And if you want to chime in and make a comment or talk to us about anything, 270-963-9038 is the text line. We'll be glad to entertain anything you'd like to comment about, and on especially softball, baseball, anything. We're just here, Star Wars. We don't care. We got that coming up at sometime here, Todd. You want to take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more and with Coach Choate.
Yeah, that'll be good.
We'll take a break, and we're going to hear from one of our new sponsors, and that is going to be U-Ride, where you know what? You can get Dave's Deal. Dave's Deal of the Week. And, man, it's cool. It's Dave's Deal of the Week. Listen to this. This is a 2005 Chrysler 300. It's a four-door. It's gray in color. It's got a Hemi in it, man. This thing, if you need to pass a car, yep, it can do that. It can also get you where you need to go. And it's Dave's Deal of the Week at U-Ride out on Marion Road. 2005 Chrysler 300 four-door Hemi, gray in color. Check it out at U-Ride. And we certainly appreciate them bringing you the Sideline Report on WPKY The Tiger. All right, that old car got you down. No fear. Go see Dave Harden at U-Ride on the Marion Road in Princeton for Dave's Deal of the Week. Here it is. It's a 2005 Chrysler 300 four-door. This thing is gray in color, and it's got a Hemi in it, and it will get you where you need to go. It's Dave's Deal of the Week from U-Ride, a 2005 Chrysler 300 four-door Hemi, gray in color. Stop by U-Ride today and ask to see Dave's Deal of the Week. Take it for a spin at U-Ride, Marion Road in Princeton.
Whether it's a new addition to your home, a family vacation, or just keeping up with the bills, let ABC Finance and its friendly staff help you with your needs. ABC Finance can help you get through the tough times and the good times. Whatever life throws your way, ABC Finance can help. So stop by and see Jody, Sarah, or Virginia today at ABC Finance, located on 62 West, the Princeton Plaza in Princeton. Phone 270-365-7444.
And at 9:31, halfway through the Sideline Report, Todd Griffin, Coach David Choate of the Lady Tiger softball team, tying a bright.
Second region softball semifinals are today. Again, 5:30, I believe, is the time for the Christian County-Madisonville game to resume. Christian County up in that game 5-4, but, man, what a battle that was. And then Caldwell County will play after that game against Crittenden County probably around 6:30, 6:45. I think they're going to do the second region, all-region team somewhere in there tonight too. So just get over to Hopkins County Central and be ready to go.
Yeah, take your bug spray.
Yeah.
Definitely take the bug spray. They got plenty of bugs over there, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I had covered soccer over there, had not covered softball over there, but it's back there. The field's kind of set back, but again, when you got two good teams playing, as we'll have two good teams on the field tonight before our game, and then of course our game, we encourage you to come over because it's a great atmosphere. The seating's good, and it's going to be a fun night of ball over there at Hopkins Central tonight. We want a big crowd over there to cheer on our Lady Tigers.
Definitely, everybody come out and see us. As you walk up to the field, there's a lot of people that sit out there behind the fence, and if I wasn't coaching, that's where I'd be, because that looks like the best place to be.
It does, yeah.
Also, you don't see people just swatting like you do all up around the stands there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of sitting back in kind of a bog back there. And
right.
So this time of year, that's conducive to critters that fly around. So they got a few over there.
Yes, sir.
Not complaining, it's just how it is. It's
right.
summertime, or almost summertime. So.
Well, I tried to get you and Bob to set up in the outfield the other night.
And that's a thought. We might do it. We might do it again. We've got a pretty good place behind the plate for a setup, but I just don't know if I could get a camera angle from out there. If I was maybe up high, I could, but it'd be a neat perspective of the field.
It'd be like on TV watching from behind the pitcher.
It would be, yeah. And we could that's a good idea there.
And you'd be a whole lot closer to the football stadium when the rain comes.
Just in case the rain comes,
yes.
yeah. We had a little protection in that football stadium. We were hoping they'd just have bleachers all the way to the softball field. We could just walk underneath them the whole time. But, yeah, David, man, we're excited. It's going to be fun. Our Lady Tigers one game away from that regional championship game. And I think everybody's pretty stoked about it.
We're looking forward to it, that's for sure. One thing I want to get out there, we want to thank everyone for their support. We added some signs out at our field this year. Of course, those were sponsored signs, and not only that, but just everyone that's been behind us. in the past few years. It's definitely been a battle. These kids have put in a ton of time, and unfortunately, a lot of the time has been in that gym, and it's hard to keep their focus, our focus. I mean, there was times during the middle of the year, I would call Barnes, or Lori would call Barnes and say, hey, we're not going to practice today because we are just tired of being in that gym. It's just so monotonous. So just continue to do the same thing over and over. Only so much you can do in there.
Yeah, and I can imagine, it's a game that's played outside, and it's frustrating when you can't get outside and play and practice. So and then it's not natural for it to be in a gym. I know that there's good work that has to be done at certain times of the year in there, but you want to get outside, smell the air, and get on that grass and on the dirt.
That's exactly right. We try to mimic it in the gym as much as we can, but it's hard to stretch it out. And then we don't hit softballs in the gym. We use softies. So bounce is a little different. A lot more true bounce in the gym, but just being on the field is what we need to be.
Yes, sir. Well, best of luck to you guys tonight. It's gonna be a great game, and we're looking forward to being over there.
I wish we were playing right now because the weather's pretty good at the moment. It's hopefully it'll hold up this afternoon. But
I was hoping we'd have an early first pitch. And I think at one point they tossed around that 4 o'clock time. But I'd even take a little earlier. 2 would be nice.
I told them when we went into the meeting on Tuesday night, I said, I don't care if you play it at noon. Mm-hmm. We'll make it happen. We'll get here.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, the weather's going to hold off. Hopefully these storms, again, it's just a slight chance. But as we all know, this time of year, as humid as it is the heat builds during the day, and we could see heat indices close to 100 in some places with the humidity. It can cause a few storms to pop up.
You could really tell it this morning.
Yeah, you can. It's pretty sticky out there. So best of luck to you guys. It's going to be fun. And Todd and I and Bob Hayes will have the call here on the Tiger. We'll live stream it again if we have an internet signal. But we want you to make the trip over if you can, because you'll be glad you did, I think.
Well, ordinarily at this time we'd ask you about your favorite wrestlers, but I think you chimed in when we did our favorite wrestlers, so we've already done that.
But somehow I left Jerry the King Lawler off of my list, and I don't know how that happened.
He was slapping himself after he said, "Man, I left Jerry the King Lawler off."
Well, and Ty and I are fixing to do our top Star Wars movies, so
you sure you don't want to stick around for that?
Man, I'd love to, but I don't know anything about Star Wars. I remember I went to watch one of them as a kid, maybe even 4 or 5 years old, and I had the big spaceship and everything for Christmas. And
what's it called, David? No,
I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
I'm just kidding you. Man, it's fun stuff. Well, it's a generational thing. We were talking about it last night. We were in the car with Bob Hayes, and he's like, he could care less. He doesn't know about it. We were talking about this stuff. That's some of the stuff we talk about when we ride to these games.
Bob can tune out for about the next 10 or 15 minutes if you would
Bob,
like.
if you're out there, just tune out. And some others going, man, I'm switching it off. We don't want you to switch it off. We want you to learn something. And Vicki Hughes has sent a very entertaining text to us this morning, Todd. She looks like she has Star Trek seasons 1 through 7, $9.99 each.
Oh, wow.
But I see a Cylon Raider helmet next to it, so I don't know if there's something there with Battlestar Galactica there too. So it might be Battlestar Galactica. She might have called it Star Trek. I don't know, Vicki, but thank you for we might have to check that out. Put it in our collection. See the Cylon Raider?
Yeah, we could do Battlestar Galactica at some point, but
we can.
it would have to be the original because I haven't seen all the reboot.
Yeah. But anyway, we appreciate Vicki chiming in this morning, and if you're listening, so thank you. We'll have to go out and check that out.
But David, thanks for coming in, and good luck, and man, hopefully we can get in that championship game and maybe do a little damage there too.
That's our plan, that's for sure. Thank you from the paper, and thank you from the radio station here.
Yeah.
Y'all have covered us a lot this year, and we sure appreciate it.
Enjoy doing it. Thank you, man. Good luck tonight. All right. Todd? Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. All right. Thank you, David. That's Caldwell County Lady Tiger coach David Choate here with us on the Sideline Report. Tiger Bright and Todd Griffin. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back. You're listening to your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger. It's the Sideline Report.
Whether it's a new addition to your home, a family vacation, or just keeping up with the bills, let ABC Finance and its friendly staff help you with your needs. ABC Finance can help you get through the tough times and the good times. Whatever life throws your way, ABC Finance can help. So stop by and see Jody, Sarah, or Virginia today at ABC Finance, located on 62 West, the Princeton Plaza in Princeton. Phone 270-365-7444.
Get spruced up this spring with quality mulch from Bashir Sawmill on Dawson Road in Princeton. We all know buying mulch by the truckload saves money, and it's only $25 per load for dark natural mulch at Bashir Sawmill on the Dawson Road, 1/2 mile past City County Park. Bashir Sawmill also buys standing timber and timberland. Give them a call today, 270-365-2330. That's Bashir Sawmill, family owned and operated in Princeton for over 50 years.
All right, at 9:40, back on the Sideline Report here on your hometown radio station, WPKAY, The Tiger. And, Todd, it's that time. We haven't had a top 5 in a while, so you guys that are Star Wars fans out there that are listening, we're ready for you to chime in, see what you like or dislike about our list, because we're going to do our top 5, or I guess our favorite Star Wars movies, the ones we like the best, so I guess it's favorites. So I got a quarter here. Let's flip it.
Okay, go ahead, because I can't remember who goes first.
You can call it.
Heads.
It's heads.
All right. So
you want to go first or
so
second?
do I have first? Do I go first, or do I have the choice?
You have the choice in my mind.
Okay, I'm just going to go first.
Okay.
Then. Let's go first. Okay, I had a couple of shows that.
This is number 5, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that I considered for this spot. The Solo movie came out last week, and I'm sure we'll discuss that a little bit. I liked the movie. I would encourage Star Wars fans to go see it. It was not as great as I was hoping for it to be.
I've got a few issues with timelines.
Well, and I've got an issue or two. Of course, I think the movie was plagued from the beginning with some issues. Ron Howard, I believe, was about the 3rd director.
But I think he did a fantastic job. I think it probably his hand helped it.
That's what I was going to say, that, I wanted it to be better just by being a Star Wars fan. You wanted that Han Solo movie just to really slap you in the face and be awesome. And it really wasn't, but maybe it was as good as it was because of Ron Howard, because of bringing him on board. To me, the biggest problem I had was the guy that played Han Solo. Just, to me, he was...
Upstaged in every scene?
Yeah, he was the weakest actor. Yeah. Whether it was Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian, which was great.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Woody Harrelson was great in his role. Paul Bettany was the villain. I mean, he was awesome. And, I read somewhere that actually that role came open late, that was originally supposed to be a CGI character. Yeah. And that somehow it got changed. They brought him in, reshot some things. I thought that worked really good.
It did.
But when the movie is called Solo, that has to be the main thing. It's all about Han Solo. And a couple of things. One, I didn't think the guy really looked that much like Harrison Ford's Han Solo, and I don't think there's that much time between the end of the movie and when we meet Han Solo in Star Wars. So, that was kind of an issue for me, too. I didn't think the film was as strong as it could have been.
And there you go, where if you're listening and you hadn't seen it, I'm not going to give anything away, but I think there's some timeline issues that come up. But anyway.
And so I considered that movie. It was actually good enough that I considered it for the top 5. I considered The Force Awakens because, that was such a rebirth of the franchise, but it just missed the cut.
It did miss mine,
so we may have controversy at my number 5. My number 5 is actually Revenge of the Sith, which may be a shock. I don't think people typically enjoyed the prequels, the 1 through 3, but to me I put that at number 5 because that's where we see how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. So to me, that was a key enough moment in the franchise that I've got that at number 5.
Yep, and that's a good way to think about it. My number 5 might be shocking in the fact that, I'm with you. I do have one of the side movies in my list somewhere, and I'll tell you where that is.
Okay.
And I'm sure you probably do too somewhere. But my number 5, I'm going to start with the original, Star Wars, Episode 4.
Yeah.
And not because someone say, well, it started it all. It should be your number 1. And that might be the case for some people. Huge. Like I said, I'm 1977. I'm a Star Wars geek because of that movie. I saw it in the drive-in theater the first time, in Lake Wales, Florida, and then I went over to Lakeland and saw it in the theater, but love it, and that's my number 5.
It not only started Star Wars, it changed the way that science fiction pictures
were shot. Yeah.
Because that's how Industrial
George-
Light and Magic
exactly.
came to be,
George-
and that's who did all the effects on hundreds and hundreds
Movies
of
after that.
sci-fi movies to come.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, that's my number 5.
all right. So my number 4 is going to be The Last Jedi, which I think gets a bum rap from a lot of Star Wars fans. And to me, the movie just looks incredible for one thing. Okay, it may have a plot hole or two here or there, but I really liked that movie better than The Force Awakens, which I think a lot of people probably liked more than I did. So,
no, I liked that movie. In fact, for my number 4, I have a tie. Sorry.
Okay.
And that is Empire Strikes Back and The Last Jedi.
Wow.
And you say, Empire Strikes Back. Some people consider that the best of all of them.
Yeah, some of us do.
Yeah, and I think it.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler. Yeah, I think it is one of the best because you get a lot of drama in there. You get a lot of the mystery, solved, and of course you have a little bit different direction with the writing and that when that movie came out. I think Lucas had cast in a little bit more creative aspect to it with his characters, but that's my number 4. It's a tie. Empire Strikes Back along with The Last Jedi.
Moving to number 3 on my list is Rogue One, which I think is an incredible movie. People say there's a plot hole or two, but I think there's a plot hole or two in every movie.
Yeah.
I was amazed because, and it's kind of like the Solo movie. I think it's difficult to write or put together a good movie when your ending is already predetermined. You know, there was only one way Rogue One could end, and that's how it ended.
Yeah.
But it was still so well done, and, you know, I saw some people complain that, well, there were no lightsabers in it. Well, these were poor people who were trying to, you know, impact the story without giving away if you haven't seen that. But, I mean, I really thought it was just a really great movie, and the ending ties in with, you know, Star Wars, the first movie, and it just worked really good.
I think they did it perfectly. I really do.
Yeah.
And it's on my list. But my number 3 is Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
And a lot of people go, the Ewoks and all that stuff. Yeah, they're
My list is Star Wars. It's not Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. The name of the movie is Star Wars. The name of the movie that was in theater in 1977,
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they had to go back and change everything, but again, it started everything. As we mentioned, it changed the way sci-fi movies are shot and how they look on screen. It's just a great movie. I mean,
It is.
If you watch nothing but this Star Wars movie, it's a great movie.
It is. And, it probably warranted a little bit more than 5 on my list, but I just have certain reasons why I did it. My number 2 is Rogue One.
Yes.
I think it was so very well done, and I've always been intrigued by the story of what happened before Star Wars.
Right.
And that was always intriguing. You always hear little pieces of it in Star Wars, talk about the spies, many brethren were lost,
Yeah.
getting the plans to the Death Star, and you sort of find out that story in Rogue One. It was well done, and it led right up to Star Wars, and I thought it was terrific, so I put it at number 2.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of tie-ins.
And it's a side story. It's not part of the main series, the Skywalker legacy, so to speak.
But I think you look at those first 3 movies, and when I say first 3 movies, I mean Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi,
Right.
differently after you watch Rogue One. To me,
Exactly.
it had an impact on those movies
Exactly.
that maybe the Solo movie did not.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So we're up to number 1. Okay, I think, probably gave a spoiler alert earlier on this, but it's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best movie.
It's
I mean,
definitely. I
did
can't believe I put it
anybody-
at number 4, but
Did anybody really see the twist coming? I mean, I guess we can give it away now because, I mean, the movie's
most everybody knows
30-something years old, but, nobody expected that Han Solo's father was Darth Vader. I mean, Anakin Skywalker. Is that right? Did I say that right?
You said Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
Luke Skywalker, not
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
You got Solo on the brain.
I've got Solo on the brain.
Yeah. Todd knows this, I promise you. He just has Solo on the brain. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
you're exactly right. Yeah, and it's these movies are about the Skywalkers,
Yes.
basically. And so, I mean, when it comes down to it and how it all started, and you can go back none of those first episodes, 1, 2, and 3, that the prequels made our list because actually one did make my list.
Yeah.
And it's going to be my number 1, believe it or not.
I had one of the prequels on.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
number 5.
But yeah, and that's going to be, I know, lead into this. My number 1 is
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
And I tell you why. I've always been fascinated with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, and Revenge of the Sith was probably the darkest one of those movies that were done. You know, there's nothing really happy about it. Now, there's some stuff that I have issues with, but I wanted to see exactly about what happened when, the whole Jedi Order was basically just, wiped out by Darth Vader. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see what exactly happened when Anakin became Darth Vader, and it's a transformation.
Well, Episode 3 had the same issues that Rogue One had because you knew where they had to get to.
Right.
We all wanted to see why Darth Vader is wearing the suit.
Exactly.
And
I think that's why it made my number 1, because I've always been, I know he's a villain, but I've always just sort of had a soft spot for Darth Vader. I don't know why, and what that says about my personality, but I wanted to see the interaction between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, how it all happened. And that was cool to see.
Yeah.
The lightsaber battles between that he and the act that Ewan McGregor and
Yes.
Hayden Christensen did. They're both so athletic. I think some of the best lightsaber duels were in that movie. Anything that involved Ewan McGregor and those lightsabers, they just did a fantastic job. I like that story, and it made my number 1 because of that.
All right, that's fair.
So anyway,
That was a
that's
good
it.
list.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool, and it's neat how different we see things. But that's it. And if you'd like to add to any of that, you're welcome to 270-963-9038. A lot of quietness. And Vicky, if you're out there listening, I'm kind of intrigued by the pictures you sent me, so I'm gonna come out and check it out.
Well, and I've had a lot of people tell me the last day or two, I've never seen a Star Wars movie, and I always say the same thing. It's not too late to start.
No,
I mean,
and just like I've never seen a Marvel Comics.
It's
not
about
much-
time,
I know. I can't believe it. And I got at least 20 or so to watch, you say.
Yeah,
So,
start with Iron Man,
Uh-huh.
and then go to the Captain America movies, and you're good.
I'm good. Yeah, I got to get on that, man. I'll just have to take a whole weekend, I think, and do a marathon or something. Order a bunch of pizza.
But I was going to say earlier before I messed myself up in the head that, the Empire Strikes Back has one of the most misquoted scenes in movie history. The whole Luke, I am your father, which Darth Vader never said.
No.
Darth is asking
Yeah.
Luke if
Luke-
Obi-Wan ever told him about his father, and he said,
Exactly.
"You killed my father," and he says, "No, I am your father."
That's exactly right.
And then Luke goes all nuts and jumps, and
yeah, I mean, I guess
it sets up the entire rest of the story.
It really does, and I think for most people, that was a pretty dramatic moment in the entire saga.
It may be the moment.
I think
mean,
it
that's,
is.
Yeah.
I think it probably is in the entire saga. But yeah, so those of you that said, "What are they talking about?" or "I've never seen them before," we just really spoiled it for you. But
Well, I'm not sure you can do spoilers on a 30 or 40-year-old movie, but
that's right. That's exactly right. It should be. Most everybody knows that. Yeah. But it's
See,
fun.
I was just glad that Solo was not a George Lucas film, because I'm pretty sure that he would have killed Han at the end of the movie and then gone back and redone all the other movies and CGI'd Harrison Ford out and put another character in there.
Yeah,
So, I mean, who knows what we would have had.
Who knows what we would have? But I think Lucas just kind of washed his hands with Disney and said, "Give me my $4 billion. I'm taking off." And I think he's fine with that.
Yeah,
I would be fine with that.
I'd be
wouldn't
fine
you?
with. I'd be fine with my billions. Yes.
Yeah, is that 4,000 million? Is that right? 4 billion? Is that 4,000 billion? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's
so,
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, I would encourage everyone to see Solo.
Yeah, I mean, as far as action, it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun movie, and you get to see some things in it that kind of help you sort of see the relationship that Solo has with Lando Calrissian and, of course, Chewbacca. But there are a lot of unanswered questions, and it really set itself up for a continuation.
Yeah. Yeah, you could actually put a movie between where this one ends and Star Wars begins.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with Disney needing to recoup all those billions of dollars, we'll keep getting movies and movies and movies. We'll get the Chewbacca backstory at some point.
We will, but I think there is some fatigue, just as you're probably listening out there going, shut up. No, but there's probably Star Wars fatigue in the movie market. I've read several entertainment articles recently that this movie did not do quite. It's about $50 million less than expected at the box office Memorial Day weekend, but I think they attribute it to maybe being too close to The Last Jedi being released, and we'll see.
Well, and it also came out really close to the new Avengers movie, and then Deadpool 2.
Exactly.
So, I think a lot of the same audience is probably going to all of those movies, and they were like bang, 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 just 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, picking and choosing, and now by the time you go to a movie now, depending on where you go, of course we got a good bargain up here at the Capitol.
Oh yes.
and great concessions. So highly encourage you to head to the Capitol Cinemas and check it out.
But I just had such high expectations for Solo, and it just didn't quite get there.
Right, I totally understand. I'm with you on that. So,
but it's still a good movie. I mean,
it is. You need to go see it because it's action packed and it's fun, and for the most part, the acting is good. Right, Todd?
Yes.
All right. We're coming up on the top of the hour, and of course, Emma Talley. Let's see if we can get an update on her score.
I was going to say, it's a minor miracle that the U.S. Women's Open even got underway this morning with how much rain they've had at Shoal Creek.
Yeah.
And I saw last night where they said they did not have plans to lift, clean, and place. So if they're playing the ball down, man, that's going to be
They're just going to have to deal with it.
Might be some lengthy rounds today and tomorrow in the first two rounds for the U.S. Open.
Yes. Let's see here if we can find where Emma is right now. She teed off, I think it was at 8:08, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the scheduled tee time.
Let's see here.
And one little note I can throw in while you're looking for that is, Brett Lasky from the LPGA Tour actually had a video on the internet, if anybody was able to check that out, where he actually sat down and had a meal with Emma Talley, and they discussed a lot of things, and it was a pretty lengthy video. Well, he actually sent me a link to that and, asked me to share it. So in return, I sent him the link to our interview with Emma Talley a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. And
so he sent me back a note saying that they were actually watching that in the press tent at the Kingsmill event a couple of weeks ago. So
that's pretty cool.
We actually had the Sideline Report being watched at an LPGA event. So
hey, man, I'll take that. That is pretty cool. Well, looks like we've had a little bit of a turn here. She's currently +2 through 5 holes. So I'm trying to see if I can see if they posted her scorecard up here. If I can get her individual scorecard, I don't see that I can. There might be a place I can get it, but started off with a birdie, and it looks like a couple of holes. She's had a few issues there, but of course a lot of golf still to be played.
Go to lpga.com and see if they have their leaderboard posted yet, and maybe you can get the individual scores. But yeah, from what everyone was talking last night about the course conditions, of course everybody's like, it's amazing it's in as good a shape as it is with all the rain that they've had, but if you go out and the course is a little muddy and you play the ball down, you get mud on the side of the ball.
Exactly.
You try to hit it and it squirts out anywhere because the course is a little wet. So, maybe you can do a few things, and I haven't had a chance to look yet to see if they've made some areas ground under repair where you can actually move your ball and get a drop and, not have to play out of. Of course, casual water you can get a drop out of, but it's still a tough way to play. And, at just a regular tournament, I'm sure they would just go lift, clean, and place, where you could pick up your ball, clean it, and put it back near the spot and be able to play it more like a normal round of golf. But
yeah, she had a double bogey. She started on hole 10, had a double bogey at 12.
Yeah, see, the USGA does not ever want to play lift, clean, and place for its championship. And
yeah, she had a double bogey followed by another bogey on 14. So, but a lot of golf to be played. Started off with a birdie on the first hole and a par, and then went double bogey, par, and bogey. So a lot of golf still to be played.
But what is it the Scottish say? If it's nae wind and nae rain, it nae golf.
Nae golf. That's exactly right. But yeah, that course down there took a pounding.
Oh yeah.
From
Alberto came through and just
sat right over the top of Birmingham for a while, and so. But we're cheering Emma on, and we'll try to keep you posted on what's going on. A lot of golf. She's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes in, so a lot of birdies still can be made. But the course is probably not playing way she's used to. I mean, she's seen it. That's her home course.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's actually a member at Shoal Creek, so I mean, she's played down there a ton and has competed on that course before. So I doubt there's anyone on the course that is as familiar with the place as she is.
Yeah. So I expect to see her rebound from a double bogey.
Oh yeah. And mentioned it a little bit earlier about the Kentucky Wildcats. Of course, yesterday was the day that everybody had to decide coming back to school or staying in the NBA draft. Well, P.J. Washington is returning, which I think is a huge get for Kentucky. It's almost like winning a recruiting battle with the NBA when somebody comes back. But I think that's going to make Kentucky really strong next year. And then we found out yesterday that the power forward from Stanford, Reed Travis, pulled his name out of the NBA draft, but says he's transferring, and Kentucky is where everyone thinks he's headed.
Yeah.
So that's like winning another recruiting battle right there. He's a graduate, so he's eligible immediately if he goes to Kentucky.
Right.
So a lot of people are putting Kentucky right now number 1 or number 2 next year in college basketball in their preseason ranking. So.
Well, I mean, that's what we expect if you're a Kentucky fan.
Unfortunately, Wenyen Gabriel is staying in the draft, even though right now it looks like he may not get drafted. We'll probably have to go the free agent route. Jared Vanderbilt is staying in the draft. And, of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander earlier announced he was staying in the draft. And Hamidou Diallo is going to stay in the draft. So, again, a lot of turnover, but it looks like Kentucky's going to be in really good shape next year for basketball with what it has coming in. Washington coming back, again, is just a huge deal. And when you look at some of these guys, like a Gabriel or a Vanderbilt, and you start looking at what's coming in, sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle. I mean, if you come back, you might not get the minutes you got the year before.
Right.
So you're almost in a situation where if you're going to try to become a professional, you might need to go ahead and do it. And, the thing I hate about Vanderbilt's case is that he was hurt last year and we never really saw what he could do. We got glimpses. I mean, what an incredible rebounder, an athletic, specimen, but can he shoot the ball well enough to play at the next level? We just don't know yet.
You kind of wish he, would have made, come on back and play college ball at least another year,
But, if you're in a situation, it looks like he may get drafted. So if you're in that situation right now, do you come back and maybe end up behind somebody on the UK roster?
Or hurt.
And we've mentioned this before, that with the exception of that 1 year where Coach Calipari platooned those guys because he had 10 or 11 players, he typically only plays 7 or maybe 8. Mm-hmm. If you're the odd man out or one of the odd men out in that situation, it doesn't do any good to come back to Kentucky and sit on the bench and watch everybody else play, because that doesn't raise your draft stock at all. So a lot of these guys get caught in a numbers crunch where you think, well, they would be better off served by playing another year of college, but if they were to come back, they would almost be better in some instances to find another school where they could play, where they knew they were going to play, and, and try to build for the NBA that way.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he does it each and every year. Coach Cal does, and that'd be something if they get that read. And good news for Kentucky fans about Washington. I saw the buzz about it several of the sites yesterday. So.
Well, I think he could be a potential SEC Player of the Year next year. So, I mean, that's huge to get somebody like that back. And Kentucky was going to be a top 5 team
no matter
if
what.
he didn't come back. So,
that's
when you get him and then this Reed Travis, the transfer from Stanford, I think he averaged 19 points and almost 9 rebounds a game last year for the Cardinals. So, it's a pretty big get for Kentucky. I would say so. Calipari's reloading well, at least it looks like for right now.
No doubt about it. I'm trying to get us an update here before we go off on Emma Talley here.
And, we haven't discussed the baseball season much yet. I mean, and we really need to talk about that.
Let's talk about it. We'll go over. We got a little time.
You look at the run that group had, and, yes, it's disappointing that they lost in the regional tournament. And I tweeted out last night that it really felt weird for the second region semifinals to be played over at Christian County and to not be there covering it, for Caldwell County because, we have gotten kind of spoiled over the recent years. And Caldwell County has had, tremendous postseason success. Played in the 2 state tournaments in the All-A Classic, state runner-up one year. Played in the KHSAA state tournament at the end of the year the last 2 years. Got just incredibly difficult draws and lost to Scott County both years. And this year the draw at state's actually a little bit better, so it kind of hurts that we're not going to have a chance to go up there and, maybe have a better chance to win a game than we had the last 2 years. But, man, what a run, and that's just baseball. I mean,
it is. I mean, 23-7 is nothing to hang your head over. I mean, what a season. Tremendous core of seniors on that team, a solid core of juniors coming back. But, we just didn't play our best baseball the other day. I mean, that when you're in those postseason tournaments, you have to play your best baseball to win and get to survive.
Well, and Union County has kind of been the giant killer the last 3 years now at the regional tournament.
They have.
The last 2 years, they had beaten Christian County in the first round, and Christian County was sort of one of the favorites when Union County beat them. Well, I think this year you pretty much had to say Caldwell County was the favorite going in, and Union County knocked out the Tigers. And, that one inning ended up being just a killer for the Tigers where Union County scored 7 times. If you get out of that inning even giving up just 2 or 3 runs, the Tigers are still right there, and the Tigers battled that thing to the end, even down 10-2.
Exactly.
Got 3 runs in the 6th inning to make it a 10-5 game. Got another run in the 7th to make it 10-6. Had a couple of guys on base. Were one base runner away from getting the tying run to the plate after trailing by 8 runs, and had that game gone another inning, who knows? And again, really felt like that game was a toss-up the way the 2 teams had played each other. Had met twice during the season. Each side won 7-6, I think it was, on their home field. The game here went extras. So
game
that was
over
there
was riddled by innings, by errors. By errors as well. So,
So that wasn't a shocker. I mean, yes, I think we all expected to see Caldwell County in the semifinals and the championship, but sports don't always work out the way you think they're going to.
That's why you play it on the field, and but what a great year. Several of those young men, those seniors, going off to finish their, to continue their education and playing.
We got 3 of them now going to Wren Lake.
Yeah, Noah Brown will be going over there, joining Jace and Bryce Thomas.
Yes.
And then we've got Ty Ramey up at
Frontier.
And then, of course, Shane Burns at Murray State University.
Yes.
And playing for the Hoptown Hoppers this
summer. And I believe they start their season Saturday night. So
that's right. Big opening night over at Christian County. They play over there. That's their home stadium, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
So for the Hoptown Hoppers. So Shane Burns.
I think so.
I think that's right. Yeah. So Shane Burns, I talked to his mother yesterday. He was headed over to get his uniform and going to transition right into the Hoptown Hoppers.
He'll be busy, and of course, when you look at the career he had, 31 wins as a Tiger pitcher. I mean, the previous career mark was 17.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
So
he'll have
it's going to be tough to replace that entire senior class.
It
but
will be.
Caldwell County has some good-looking younger kids. I think the Tigers will still be in the mix next year, both in the district and in the region.
Certainly.
And if you look back far enough, I think there are some groups coming up that eventually we might see another run I mean, you never know for sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's special when you can hit one of those runs like the Tigers had the last couple of years. But the Tiger baseball program has typically been pretty good.
Yes.
We talk about football a lot, and I think people, and we've talked about this a whole lot, I think people look at Caldwell County as more of a football school or football community. Mm-hmm. But through the years, baseball has been pretty good too.
Yeah.
And I think we'll always have pretty good baseball teams.
Yeah, I think so.
But winning the region is special, and going to the state tournament is special. I mean,
it is, and it's been a lot of fun to go up and cover some of those. I've been able to do that the last couple of years. But kudos to Coach Stallings, his staff, and all those young men on that team. Good season, Yeah, I mean, didn't probably wish we were still playing. I know a lot of those guys do, but fantastic year. So
and that's why you hope that the Lady Tigers could pull out this regional tournament, because going to state is, I mean,
special,
you keep that forever.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's fun.
I think they've got a chance to get to that championship game. Of course, Crittenden County is probably sitting there thinking the exact same thing on the other side.
Sure.
And if you get to that championship, I mean, you've got just an incredible team waiting, whether it's Christian County or Madisonville North Hopkins. But,
man,
hey, upsets happen. We see it all the time. And
we do, just like we saw it in the first region. But, boy, I can't wait to find out how this thing's going to finish between Christian County and Madisonville. It's really going to be neat to see.
Well, it'll be a fun evening if the weather cooperates. And like we said, right now it looks like we might get some bad weather this afternoon, but maybe that will stay away. And if you go over to Hopkins County Central, you get to see the last 3 innings plus of that Christian County Madisonville showdown, and then Caldwell County and Crittenden County right after it. First game starts about 5:30. That game was suspended on Tuesday, and of course we couldn't play yesterday, so they'll pick that game back up right where it finished. And then whenever we get done with the first game, Caldwell County and Crittenden County will be coming shortly after that.
Check out Todd's tweets if you want to follow on Twitter, and we'll have it for you on the radio at 103.3 FM at 1580 AM. We'll attempt to live stream it as well. Again, the internet service over there is pretty sketchy at times.
Well, I'm hoping I can get out some tweets tonight. I may have to figure out some kind of workaround
maybe we can figure
to get out.
But it's going to be a lot of fun, and look forward to bringing that coverage to you tonight. So,
absolutely.
So, going to be a good one.
It should be.
And head on over there if you get a chance. Why not drive over and cheer on our Lady Tigers? It's going to be a fun
it's an
night.
easy trip.
It's
35 or 40 minutes
right
tops.
There at Morton's
yeah.
Gap. So we encourage you to come out and enjoy some good softball action tonight. So,
all right.
Is that it?
I think that's everything. We've touched
awesome.
on it. It's been a busy last week or so, a lot going on. Hopefully Emma can continue to play well.
Yeah, and just checking the leaderboard, she's on the 6th hole right now. Again, +2, but lots of golf to be played. She had a double bogey and a bogey that's hurt her at the beginning of this round. Started off with a birdie, but like I said, she's got a lot of holes to play today. So the course is playing pretty tough.
Yeah, there will be TV coverage this afternoon, I think starting at 1 o'clock our time on FS1. Today and tomorrow are both on FS1, I think at 1 o'clock each day. Weekend coverage is on Big Fox.
Okay.
So,
wow. So it's on Big Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah,
lots of TV coverage. And I think maybe if you go to the USGA website, there may be some live streaming going on there. There was some live streaming on their Twitter account this morning, so you might be able to catch part of the tournament online someplace as well.
Okay. Well, like I said, the course is obviously playing pretty tough due to the weather, but leaders are at -2. So, so really, like I said, everybody's kind of, at least at this point, scores are pretty low.
Yeah, neat for her to make that cut. Of course, she made the cut last weekend, had a really good third round, a 6-under up in Michigan, and kind of came back to earth a little bit on that final round, but still made a nice payday out of it and continues to add to her winnings. And it really looks good right now that she'll get her card again next year, won't have to do qualifying or any of those things. And, that's the big thing about this U.S. Open is that I was hoping she could finish high enough, and I'm not sure how that goes as far as qualifying for next year, but I know if she can finish high enough in this tournament or if she can finish high enough on the year-end money list, she won't have to qualify for
Right,
the
she's
U.S. Open
automatically
next
in
year.
next
She'll just
year.
be automatically in. So
Yeah.
hopefully she can get to that point to where she doesn't have to go to that qualifier and get in the
Try to
hard
make it.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, she just automatically qualifies. So good luck to Emma, and good luck to our Lady Tigers tonight, Todd, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Yeah, we'll be there.
All right. Sounds good. That's going to wrap up the Sideline Reports on this Thursday. We certainly appreciate our sponsors, ABC Finance. You need one of those good summertime loans. Going on vacation, go out. Check out Jody, Sarah, and Virginia. They'll get you fixed up for your vacation loan, home improvement, something like that. US 62 West Princeton Plaza, ABC Finance. If you need that good dark hardwood mulch, Bashir Sawmill, Princeton on the Dawson Road. They'll fix you up with a load for $25 of that good dark mulch. They're also buying standing timber and timberland. Give them a call, Bashir Sawmill. Go out and check them out. And, of course, U-Ride, Dave's Deal of the Week. It's a 2005 Chrysler 300 four-door Hemi, gray in color. That's a good ride, and it's at U-Ride. Test it at U-Ride on Marion Road in Princeton. That's going to wrap up the Sideline Report. We certainly appreciate you joining us today here on your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger. We'll check in with ABC News here as we head out at 10:16. We'll see you next week on the Sideline Report, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Sideline Report, brought to you by the Times leader, Todd Griffin, in studio to get us up to date on everything Caldwell County sports. So be sure to tune in at 9:03 every Thursday for the